Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group. So today's video is pretty straightforward. We got invited last minute to an actual demo for the Nice inContact platform. For those of you who don't know what the Nice inContact platform is basically a voice over IP or virtual contact center software and platform for call centers. Before I pause this video and then we wait until this live demo webinar starts, I just want to let you guys know we did do another video recently called the top three, voice over IP softwares or voice over IP platforms or virtual contact centers specifically for call centers. So I'll tag that video above in this video. But again, I'm going to pause this video and then we're going to record this so you guys can see what the Nice inContact virtual contact center for call centers actually is.
My name is Michael Fox, and you heard Dave McAbee on the line. We're going to be your presenters today. Really grateful that you've all chosen to join us, and all of us here at Nice inContact are recognizing that we're all keeping our social distance, but here we are through the magic of our wonderful web technology. So thank you all. We're going to have really a focus on two things today. What is the Cloud Contact Center, and specifically the Omni-channel digital Cloud Contact Center in today's environment? Secondly, business continuity and our new program we have here at Nice inContact, specifically around the COVID-19 situation. It's called Work at Home. And maybe you've seen it on LinkedIn or through advertisements that have popped up in your feeds. But we are responding with great service and great agility to the requirements for people to start working at home, especially in the contact center. Please do. I've got everybody muted except for Dave. And if you have questions, please do raise them in the chat. And Dave, if you wouldn't mind monitoring the chat, or Tricia, whoever can do that, Tim or Ajay from our side. Let me make sure that we're responding in the chat. There will be time at the end also for questions, okay?
Yeah, I'll monitor the chat, and just a couple of quick things too, if you don't mind, Mike. Would you go into presentation mode so we can get rid of all the other background stuff? And then for those folks who are joining, thank you. And we'll, for the sake of time, we won't go around do introductions, but if there's anything specific that you want to make sure that you take out of today's session, please share with that. Share that. You can put it in the chat. Yeah, there we go. You can go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll make sure that we include that in the topics that we cover.
Yeah, great point, Dave. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, again, thank you all for joining. We'll get going here. So we have really 7 sections to cover. We're going to try to keep it brief and focused. But the first thing is, do you know who we are, what we do, and why we do it, and how we do it? We are in the customer experience business. The customer experience, your customers, as well as your internal customers, your employees, your contact center users, your business managers. And what we've done at Nice inContact over the last 15, 16 years is developed a comprehensive platform in the cloud, native to cloud. We're not new. We've been doing this for quite a while. And we've developed an extremely powerful and comprehensive solution that allows people to do communications in multiple ways. And really, we're really focused on the business outcomes, your customer experience goals, whether it be customer satisfaction, NPS, additional business that you can drive into your company, or reducing your costs, and frankly, managing your contact center agents and resources effectively. To give it a little bit of background, we're all over the world now. We're in 100+ countries, 315,000, and I think that's actually even a little bit low, number of agents on our platform worldwide. We have quite a few Fortune 100 customers. We have a very strong SLA at 99.99%, including downtime or maintenance windows. And we also have a FedRAMP platform for those of you who are interested in government security and government compliance with GSA FedRAMP. So our security platform, global reach, SLAs, as well as overall success and tenure in the cloud is what really defines us at the high end of things. So we look at what is a customer experience platform. It's a platform that can allow you to communicate with your customers through any media to help you make the best of your employees and other resources inside the company. It's a platform that allows you to hear what your customers are saying about you, to get feedback. And it's a platform that allows you to automate and otherwise make more efficient your business processes so you can reduce your costs. And we do that through four primary things: our omni-channel routing, which allows people to communicate via text, chat, email, voice, of course, and also self-service. And lately, we've seen greater and greater interest in digital channels, things like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever works for the customer wherever they are. We want you to be able to communicate with that customer effectively. In workforce optimization, we allow you to have visibility into your workforce, scheduling, performance, reports on how your agents are interacting with customers. We have analytics that allow you to see these things in a very clear and actionable way. And then finally, automation and artificial intelligence. So we can take many of the repetitive and otherwise unproductive tasks out of your workflow and allow you to either automate them through chatbots or interactive voice response, where customers can take care of their own requests, or frankly, where we can allow you to identify back-end tasks that agents and others are doing that may not be as effective or impactful, and then therefore can be automated and taken out of the repetitive, mundane work of the individual who's helping the customer. So here's the thing, Gen D, and I'm not sure if that's going to catch on. It's just a phrase that I have sort of put into the slide here. And I see that there's a question from Michael Johnson about a call center in Manila.
Yeah, I wrote that down. You can keep going. I think there'll be a point to cover that.
Okay, fair enough. As they pop up, I want to make sure we just don't mow over them. So I'll rely on Dave, on you, Dave. Thank you.
I got you. Don't worry.
Gen D is what most of us would call people who were born when the internet existed. Okay, when contact centers that could do email and chat and text started to exist, these folks have never known a world without the internet. They typically aren't really all that voice-centric. Many of you may have children or even grandchildren who simply won't call or answer the phone, but they're constantly communicating with their peers, with the companies they do business with. They're picking up feeds on social media, reports and reviews and complaints about companies. And I was with a customer last week that is a charity, and this customer had one comment that hit their hit their Facebook page. And the comment was somebody wasn't happy with the way their billing had been done. And the customer put the request there, the customer made the comment on the 26th of February. And from normal business practices, our new customer would have handled that via somebody checking the Facebook page manually. And it would have taken them about 5 days to respond to that inquiry or that complaint on Facebook. In the normal world, the non-Gen D world, 5 days wouldn't be too bad to respond to a customer request, maybe 3 days even. But in the digital world, 5 days is 6 lifetimes. The point is that people in the digital world make decisions quickly, they make them without context, and they make them, frankly, very much with prejudice to say, gee, I heard one bad complaint, I can't do business with that company, or I can't donate to that charity, or I can't expect these folks to take care of me, I'm going to buy this other product. So closing that cycle and that cycle of response, there's a little bit of background noise, I'm not sure what that is, but closing that cycle of response and allowing us to respond more quickly, almost instantaneously, to the digital channels, whether it be, again, through chat, messaging, mobile, social listening, being able to actually hear what the market is saying about your products and services. That is a area where all of us need to continue to improve, continue to drive expediency, accuracy, and context in replying to people. Well, that was great. I just shifted to the last slide. Apologies, everybody. Let me get back to where we're supposed to be. I just love it. All right, here we go. All right. So this is a very simple view of things. If you were to look at who we are and how we support our customers and how we help our customers support theirs, our main product platform is called CX1. It is the omni-channel digital-first platform. We are based in the microservices cloud of AWS. It's an open cloud platform to all the open cloud standards. Certified PCI compliance, so security on your financial transactions and interactions with your customers. HIPAA for security with healthcare and private information, private health information. SOC 2, Type 2, which is a very high level of SOC compliance, Security Operations Center. We support GDPR requirements in Europe, and there are other growing requirements in various parts of the U.S. and Canada and other places. Again, FedRAMP for government security. We have Public Trust Site, which is our trust office, where all these security certifications and proofs are documented. And we are a member of the Cloud Security Alliance. Now, voice, on the voice side of things, which is what a lot of people will ask about moving your contact center to the cloud, we are a CLEC, and we operate a multi-path, multi-carrier, IP-peered CLEC environment, so that when it comes time to connectivity to our platform from a voice perspective, provisioning circuits and watching circuits, being able to have network operations center type visibility and assuring voice quality. Another part of our SLA, for example, is a 3.9 plus MOS score guarantee, and that's part of our SLA again. And what we think, from our experience working with customers all over the world, small, medium, and large, is that these are really baseline requirements for the cloud contact center operations of our customers. And I'm talking about from the largest retailers to the smallest plumbing shops, in a regional basis where 20 agents to 20,000 agents are all looking for these baseline things. When we talk about business outcomes, it's really about three things. Are you aware of what's going on in your contact center? Finding out new things that have popped up, finding context. What are the areas that are requiring a lot of effort, a lot of repetitive, machine level effort versus human level and, discernment type level. What are your customers saying about you? What are your customers saying to your agents? Is there visibility into how your agents are serving your customers? Are they communicating in the way that your customer enjoys communicating? Are they responsive? Are they empathetic? Are they direct and accurate with what they're saying? And all that kind of ties into the next thing, which is accountability. In our contact centers, especially when we're starting to work from home more and working in digital channels, there's a lot of opportunity to maybe just nibble around the edges of being as responsive and compliant to your schedule or to your customers' needs or to the metrics, KPIs that the contact center depends upon to run efficiently and keep its promise to the company as well as to the customers. And consistency. What can we do to address customer needs in real time? Either get that first call resolution, get that email replied to more quickly and have an audit trail, or in the case of having multiple contacts, email, chat, call, digital, put all that information into a single contact record so that you're now aware of how that customer is communicating with you, when and why, and how your agents and your bots and your processes are taking care of that customer. Again, we're looking out for your customers, for you and your customer. It's not just about the technology, not just about the telephony, but what are the business outcomes? So let's talk a little bit about what the tools are within that omni-channel world that we apply to give you visibility and to manage your resources. On the chat, if anyone wouldn't mind, if you took the three factors of running your contact center or running any contact center or customer service environment, in our view, there are three things. There's your business infrastructure, including your buildings, your IT, and your technology. And let's say that represents a portion of the cost of running the contact center specifically. There's telephony, the connectivity, whether it be IP, TDM, voice, data, whatever it is. that's another bucket of cost of running a contact center. And the third portion of running the contact center is personnel. Let's take a guess, and first one to respond on this WebEx. Unfortunately, I can't hand you a tchotchke, but first one to respond, becomes class pet. What is the percentage that you might allocate to each three? Infrastructure, telephony, and personnel. Bueller? Anyone? I'm not watching the chat, David. Anybody replied?
Not yet. Not yet.
All right. Well, we'll get back to that. Okay.
Yeah, Julie's asking again, yeah.
All right. So here's the quiz. Here's the quiz. Take a guess. If you looked at the cost of running a contact center, there are three major components. The first is infrastructure, and that includes buildings, chairs, and the IT software and hardware to run your contact center. The second item is telephony and connectivity. So getting the data network and the voice network configured for the contact center. And the third one is personnel. If you took infrastructure, telephony and data connectivity, and personnel, how would you allocate your costs in running a contact center? 1, 2, and 3, or by percentage? All right, Michael says the high cost is staff. All right, that's number one.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. The stats that we see, by the way, are somewhere between 80 and 90% of the cost of running a contact center is in human resources. And frankly, the value that also is allocated to a contact center is really in the human resources as well. So aligning that cost and value effectively is where our workforce optimization suite comes in. So again, business goals, every interaction, no matter what media, great customer experiences, and achieving the business goals, which almost always tie into one of three buckets in business goals. We either want to increase sales, increase revenue, we want to reduce costs, and we want to improve a great customer experience. Anything we can do to increase revenue, reduce costs, or have the ability to give customers greater experience, even improve your Net Promoter Score, NPS. Those are the goals that we're functioned around. So if you look at these things in Workforce Optimization Pro, we've got everything from forecasting to performance dashboards and trend analysis, data aggregation so that we can actually see that entire contact history, integration with your CRM platforms, whether it be Salesforce, Zendesk, Microsoft Dynamics, homegrown, everything else that people are using these days, ServiceNow, all the open API CRMs out there we integrate with, and search and playback of recordings, whether it be voice or audio recordings, being able to do gamifications to help agents stay more engaged and compete maybe against each other in the contact center, so they recognize how well they're doing against their peers, their staff, their colleagues. Being able to do coaching and training, scheduling the agents themselves, giving them the ability to adjust their schedule for a flexible workday, work at home, and compliance. Being able to check agent compliance with schedules. Are they performing in the way that they're scheduled to perform, and are they keeping the staffing correct within the forecast and staffing budget that's been allocated? All these things. I appreciate Michael's comments about pushing all these things, and now the CEO and CFO is finally listening. I think most of us who've been in this business a long time in contact centers, either running them or servicing them, have recognized that we sort of end up being the dark little corner of the company sometimes. You got 50 people, 20 people, 15, maybe 1,000 people, and they're often some building or some corner of the building, and they're doing their thing, and the CEO and CFO kind of knows that they're there, but they haven't really looked into it much. And now that they're starting to see that in this digital world, digital first world, customer experience drives business and drives performance and drives perception, all of a sudden that first contact and that continuous contact, whether it's service support or marketing, becomes really crucial. Absolutely.
Hey, Mike, if we could, I'd like to take a pause here for a second, and since Michael Johnson has been so forthcoming with his questions and his comments, I'd like to address his question with a little bit of detail. Could I share one quick slide from my side?
Sure. You bet, Jake. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Let me grab for just a second here. Okay. I think can you guys, okay, let me see what let me swap screens. I'm doing dual monitors and it's showing the wrong one.
And you know what, for this portion, if it's okay with Michael, I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you if you'd like to comment on any of the stuff that Dave's talking about and we've talked about so far.
So let me see what you guys are seeing real quick. I want to make sure that you're. Okay. Is this my presenter view? I'm having a hard time because I'm using two screens.
Nope, I got it.
Okay, great. So Michael was asking specifically about a solution that would support agents globally. So he specifically mentioned Manila, India, and the United States. I also wanted to address work from home in the same context, but on the map that you're seeing here, well, this does talk about our voice SLA and our uptime guarantee and some of our security compliance. What it also shows is our global presence. And so you see really three different types of data centers around the globe. We have what we call our super centers. So these are the blue flags with the orange circle in the middle of them. You have 2 in the United States, 2 in Germany, and 2 in Australia. You also have the orange are separate voice pops. These are areas where we can deliver voice from. And you have Brazil, Singapore, and Japan. And then for our federal government customers, we have 2 geo-redundant voice pops in the United States. Or excuse me, FedRAMP, that's a full platform point of presence there. So the way our solution is architected is we can deliver both our application layer from our data centers as well as voice, but we have the unique ability to segment voice from data so that we can keep voice very much regional and prevent the latency that you might get with hairpinning, a voice call from, let's say, Manila to Los Angeles and back, right? For example. In the case of an APAC type of deployment, we could deploy out of our data centers in Australia, but if we need to have voice closer to where the agents are physically sitting, we could deploy our voice out of Japan or out of Singapore and cut out latency and that type of thing. From a supervisor or an administrator perspective, you could have agents deployed globally out of multiple data centers and really still see them as a single group of agents or a single contact center. You can share agent resources across the globe, manage them, load balance between them. That's just sort of inherent in the platform. Earlier on, Michael Fox had made the comment that we are a CLEC, and that's true. And so what that means for work-at-home agents is that when we handle call traffic, we can deliver the agent leg of that traffic across a number of different media types. We can deliver calls over the PSTN, and actually we're doing that for a lot of customers who are quickly finding they need to send agents home right now because of COVID-19. We're just doing a direct dial out to a POTS line or to a mobile telephone where the agents are located. What we like better is our WebRTC functionality, which is built right into our agent interface. We can deliver voice directly over the internet. We can encrypt it or not. We can provide high level of encryption with that voice, but also deliver that right down to the agent desktop, and they just simply need to plug in a USB headset into their computer in order to use that. And of course, we still do traditional telephony connection where we're delivering MPLS circuits or PRIs or anything like that. So to answer your question, Michael, we support all the countries that you mentioned. We support India. We actually have we have an office in Manila ourselves where we run 24/7 customer support in addition to our U.S. presence. So we certainly work out of Manila as well. Michael Johnson, any other questions? Oh, so there was a question about hosting data. So I'll stop sharing my screen and give it back to you, Mike. And Julie said, so are you hosting data or is this really, so the question is, are we hosting data? So not necessarily. We are a contact center software service, right? So we're a customer experience solution platform. So the data that we might collect would only be incidental for providing self-service types of applications. So your customer data typically would reside in your CRM. If we needed to do a data dip into a CRM so that we can provide authentication to a caller or do some self-service, play back a balance, reset a password, anything like that, we may hold some of the data for the duration of the interaction while we do that, but then that's purged from our system. And of course, everything is encrypted in transit and at rest. But we're not a CRM, so we don't, we're not specifically looking to host any of your data.
Right, and today's point, Julie, where we do need to host data, for example, call recordings and screen recordings, those are all under the SOC 2 environment with all these security and trust questions answered. And frankly, that is one of the big issues that we see with many people looking to move to cloud. Do they have trust and confidence in our security? Are we keeping their compliance and regulatory compliance in check? And absolutely, I think one of the key things that we looked at, and again, this is something we've been doing for about 15 years, is that world of trust and compliance is getting more and more complex, more and more regulated. And as those that continues to happen, we continue to upgrade and expand the security profile of our platform as well. So, when it comes to security questions, I think you'll find we've got the basis very well covered. And as Dave said, most of the critical security, even for example, if a customer is entering a credit card information via DTMF or via some other form, and we can track that call within your Salesforce environment, for example, so the agent's aware that the customer is making progress. That information is all screened from the agent. It's all screened, whether it's a voice input or data input. We don't see it. We don't collect it. That type of PII and HIPAA stuff, and that information we don't even have to purge. What Dave's talking about is things along the lines of call-based information that may also be subject to regulation and compliance. Good and very good questions. Thank you. So I'm going to move into the WFO environment here for about 10 minutes. And Dave, keep me honest on that if you would, because there's a whole lot we can get into in WFO, workforce optimization. The key that we talked about earlier is that the big chunk of money in running a contact center is human beings. And absolutely, getting the right number of agents to keep your SLAs and keep your KPIs in check, to reduce your overstaffing costs and frankly, make sure you're not understaffing. Not only that, but you're staffing with the right individuals, with the right skills, the right background, the right expertise. Do workforce scheduling in an easy way. I know many contact centers are still kind of shuffling spreadsheets around when it comes to scheduling, and they're also shuffling spreadsheets around when it comes to, and the spreadsheets get more complex as your contact center becomes more robust. So the ability to do the automated data exchange with your calendaring systems, so that you, supervisors or directors or VPs of contact center customer experience, absolutely can have that visibility into how things are going. and keeping the employees engaged as well. And how we do that is through very clean dashboard presentations that give you and your agents and your supervisors visibility at the level that is useful, actionable. That visibility can be on a desktop within our Max environment, which is a single screen, clean environment that the agent can see what's going on with their individual performance and responsiveness. It could also be a wall board, or it could be a PC or a tablet. Whatever is working for you in your environment is where that information can be displayed. And that performance information can also be captured in reports, of course, and distributed as you would expect to appropriate people with appropriate levels of visibility. Everything is role-based, rules-based, authority-based within a hierarchy. Skills are assigned within a hierarchy. KPIs are monitored within the hierarchy. And I saw Mike Johnson just asked about MS Teams. Absolutely. In fact, it's a new development for us in the last 6 months, where MS Teams is becoming a crucial aspect, and especially in those customers that are a complete Microsoft shop, where Dynamics, Teams, Skype for Business, all the Microsoft, tools need to be implemented in a single suite. And Teams is obviously a great adjunct to that. So analytics that comes out of this visibility as well, being able to say, okay, what is the outcome here? What's the information and how is it relevant? Is it aligned with our own business metrics? We supply something we call the data dictionary. In fact, it's publicly available, where you as a customer can see how we do calculations on various metrics, what data we query, how that data is organized, how it's compared and correlated. And it shows you both our customer reports and our standard reports, and the model for creating customer reports. So we are very, I'm going to say this, very customer open in terms of allowing the customer to be self-service, to be self-aware and ability, all those things. So it's not a question of coming to us or coming to some third party to make interesting changes for you, or agile changes that you might need to make. And then finally, within analytics, showing you trends and forecasting. How have you done across your teams, your topics? How's the customer sentiment? And sentiment tool is a tool that judges things like the cadence of a call. Are people listening? Are they talking over each other? Are there big, long dead spots in that call? Are certain words spoken? And can you develop those words into a searchable field through voice analysis and word spotting? Are there phrases that are spotted, not just in spoken word, but in text and emails and chat messages? All those things tying into that Interaction Analytics Pro environment. And then finally, feedback management, using our feedback tools to actually get customer feedback. Again, use those same tools to develop searchable information so that you're aware of what is it that customers are speaking. Is there a trend for unhappy? Is there a trend for delighted within those conversations? And finally, presenting this information, as I was speaking about earlier, in things like word clouds and bar graphs, in real-time sentiment or near real-time sentiment or trends, where maybe the polling is every 5 minutes, or maybe it's every 15 minutes, or maybe it's even shorter or longer, depending on how contextual and how relevant that information is to the communication. All those things tie into your visibility and your customers' delight or being serviced in a way that's achievable and satisfactory to them. So getting to the cloud, and we've kind of gotten into this a little bit earlier, so I may go a little quicker here. The key thing for us is to protect your existing investment. That you either got into Avaya, Cisco, Mitel, ShoreTel, NEC, whoever, Siemens, PBX out there, and you want to maintain maybe those phones on the desks. Or maybe you're trying to get away from maintaining those phones on the desk and you want to go to a soft phone. Or maybe you're moving to a work and home environment. You need to have people using the PSTN phone on their desktop because they just like the dial pad. It doesn't matter to us how we connect to the agent. Whatever's best for you and your environment, both financially, operationally, and socially, that's how we'll support your agent experience. The other thing is that many folks are moving to the cloud, and we will often land in an account with a certain subset of agents. Maybe the account has 1,000 agents, and they're dipping their toe in the account into the cloud. we can start small and we can scale large and small based on, the confidence that you build with us, as well as the demand that you have from your customers. So that scalability and the flexibility of scaling large and scaling smaller. We just got a notice this morning, for example, that a very large government agency, very involved in this emergency response situation we're in, was able to move to our platform in about 3 days. And the reason they were able to do that is because the agility of the cloud, the scalability of the cloud, the security and performance of the cloud allowed them to do that. Had they tried to do that with their existing platform, they probably would end up replacing a whole bunch of hardware, going through a whole big purchasing cycle to buy a bunch of software licenses, then training up a bunch of people. And in this case, working with, emergency management agencies, health agencies, people like that, we were able to respond very quickly. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute, because that same agility and support to this COVID-19 situation is also available to you. So I'm going to move into that so we can spend a few minutes on it, because that is part of our mission today, is to share this service and this opportunity with you. We have the business continuity offer that we've put out in the market as of Monday. Sunday night, all of us at NICE inContact were on conference calls in order to understand how this was going to be scaled up. We have customers that have already moved to it, are already operational on it, and that's from Sunday night. Let's put that in perspective. That's less than 72 hours. We had people up and running on our platform. And let me tell you what this is about. We call it the CX1 at Home program, and it's for COVID-19 continuity. It's to help your people be safe, help them be productive, help them move fast so they can support your customers, be reliable service, and do it across all locations. So this is not a U.S. problem, it's a global problem. And our ability to do the work at home solution, as Mike was saying, and maybe he's dropped off by now, Manila, wherever your people are, wherever they need to work, is what the work at home program is about. Let me give some details on it. You can go to this page, and we will send it out to you afterwards. It's called the NICEinContact.com CX1 at Home page. And what we're doing right now is we're offering customers or prospective customers, or people just need to use this service for their own dynamic needs, the ability to move to our platform in 48 hours. We will give you our service free for 45 days. There is a very small implementation fee that has to be collected for our operational expenses, but you can use our agent software, WebRTC, PSTN, on a home phone, mobile phone, wherever that agent needs to work for free for 45 days, and we'll have you up and running in a few days. That is the key thing with the CX1 at Home program. We'll have some time, maybe 5 minutes at the end of this, and we can discuss it. You can certainly follow up with Ajay or Darrell afterwards, or Dave and Mike, Dave and me afterwards, and we will get you connected up with that program. So what it does is gives you business continuity. There's no commitment, no contract. If you like what you've been using for 45 days, you can make a contract with us. If you don't like it, disconnect. We're happy to be of service. The one-time implementation fee will have you up and running very quickly. There's a pre-written kind of, I'm not going to say it's cookie cutter, but it's fairly prescriptive. It's a statement of work. There are no changes within that statement of work because this is a high demand program. We've got roughly 15,000 agents of requests that have come into us in 3 days from large and small companies, 4,000 agents in one case, 40 agents in another case. The minimum is 25 seats to go with this. And the platform that we're providing is not a bare bones platform. ACD IVR, audio recording, 3 ports of universal port access per agent for queuing, 5 gigabits of active storage, gigabytes of active storage, and again, the same 99.99% availability SLA. And Dave talked about this a bit earlier. I was going to leave it here to talk some of the details, but I'm glad we were able to get to that when Mike was asking the questions. Again, standard codec 711, 729, up and down 100K per call. Work at home on whatever type of phone you want, WebRTC client. Our platform is in the AWS cloud. It's very scalable, very reliable. It's global. All those things allow us to do this. And we haven't seen a whole lot of other people stepping up to the plate. We're seeing lots of ads on LinkedIn. with people saying, oh, this is why you should have had work at home before for this or that. But I haven't seen anybody offering a program like this where they're just stepping up to the situation and being of service. It's truly a very gratifying thing to work for a company that's made this type of investment and can do it and can perform and execute.
Hey, Mike, I want to add something about that program too, about the work at home response to COVID-19. Guys, I don't know about everyone else that's on this call. I have 3 kids. Two are home from school because schools are closed for a month. Another is 20 months old. And so we've got a house full of people who have had their lives disrupted, and I think everybody has because of this. When we think about business continuity during an emergency like this, the first thought are things like the CDC and FEMA, which are 2 agencies we actually support with NICE inContact. When we think about those kinds of services, but the fact is that with everything being shut down and with so many of us kind of sheltering in place, some of us just want a feel of normalcy in our lives again. And I think that goes a long way to build people's morale so we can make it through this. So really, it doesn't matter what your business is, what kind of service you provide. Everything is important right now because we all need to feel normal. So if I can pick up the phone and call Netflix and make sure everything is still working and I can still stream some shows for my kids or have some package delivered, something that's not really essential, but it just makes life easier, all of that goes a long way to help us make it through this. So I think this offer to me is about trying to keep life as normal as possible while we all collectively kind of suffer through this together.
Yeah, Dave, that's a powerful thing, and I totally agree. Everybody's situation is different, but what isn't different is that we're all figuring it out right now. We're all figuring out how to make it work, how to keep people happy at home, how to keep people happy at work, how to keep our customers happy, and it's going to be different for all of us. But this flexibility and the agility of this is frankly a game changer for all of us. I mean, I suspect that most people on this WebEx today are working from home, and for me, that's been kind of a standard operating procedure. But that's not the same for everybody. And many contact center agents, for example, one of our customers had to go with the work at home program. They had to literally place an order overnighting 1,000 Chromebooks to their agents. And so those 1,000 Chromebooks showed up yesterday morning, and the agents were active yesterday afternoon on the NICE inContact platform at home. So again, this is the kind of thing that, not just immediately, but ongoing. We're hearing this thing's going to go on for a long time, and we're hearing that it's going to be something we're all going to have to, figure out how to deal with so we keep all of our families safe and the people we care about safe and all the rest of us safe. Absolutely. Well, after that dramatic message, I'm not sure just how interesting it is to hear about Mattress Firm and the kind of achievements they've done. But Mattress Firm, we kind of all know. We see these mattress, warehouse mattress firms, some of these companies, and their goal was to obviously, get a better rating from their customer affairs, reduce their staffing, and increase their service scores. Valvoline, slightly larger, 182 agents. And I picked these 3 because they're different sizes. Mattress Firm is about 50 agents, Valvoline 182, and you can see the kind of things we're able to reduce queue time, save on labor, and answer customer questions immediately. Is what the administrator of the contact center was able to say. And then finally, Teleflora, which, as you know, around Easter, Christmas, Mother's Day, not so much Father's Day, but Mother's Day and other holidays, they have huge spikes in demand there, and the ability to be flexible and provide that kind of impact. And again, they service 33,000 florists worldwide, and you notice in the agent list, it shows they have 400 to 1,000 agents. That talks about the scalability and flexibility because they have a seasonal business. How many people might be concurrently on calls at a given time? So I'm gonna leave this slide here. The thank you slide. Let me get to the Forester. I'll just leave that. We can talk and answer questions while that's sitting up there in front of us. And as I do that, I'm going to unmute everybody. But if you're in a noisy environment or environment, please self-mute. But I'll unmute the lines here.